Are we ready?
We are.
Yes.
Channel, Danielle.
Yes.
Yep.
Recording in progress.
You are listening to the Quinn-tessentials podcast.
Hey.
Hi.
Oh,
Welcome back to part 2 of the season premiere of the Quinn-tessentials podcast, y'all. We're here and we're ready to go.
So we are +2 today. We're so excited because we're completely obsessed with these two ladies, and I just can't wait to introduce them. We got Arynn and Kel. I think one of the most exciting things going into like the convention is meeting people that you interact with online. And I think Kel and Arynn have been two of the most consistent, like day one people. So when we got to meet them, it was like game over. Like these are our people. We're so excited. So we had to have them on so we can all talk about our experience and how much fun we had and
so much fun.
My lack of tolerance, apparently.
We had a lot of hurricanes that night. Our tolerance was not great.
No, it wasn't. But
well, it's like every one of us was like, here's a round, all by the next round, all by the next round.
Yeah.
It was so easy.
Yeah, and then we ended the night with shots, which is
I forgot. We took green tea shot. I totally forgot.
What is it about ending the night with a shot that will fuck up your life? Like, oh,
it did.
I mean, the next day I was like, oh God, okay. But I want to know a little bit about you guys, where you're from. So we'll start with Arynn. Tell us about you, where you're from, how you heard of, are you a fan, or did you start as a fan of Eddie or Joe? How did this all go for you?
Where I'm from, I'm originally from Washington State. I live in South Carolina. The thing about it, okay, was that I had a 4th of July party. When I first watched the first half, I was like, oh, this guy's kind of cool. I connect with him. I was an outcast in school. I was a little emo scene kid. And I was like, oh, that's, I really connect with him. Now, when the second half of the season came out, it was on July 2nd, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it was like,
and we were having a 4th of July party at our house. So I was social media blank at the time. I was like, I'm not going on. I don't want anything spoiled for me. And then it was like the next day that me and my husband like sat down in bed all day and like binge watched all of it through. And by the end of it, I'm just like sobbing. And my husband's like, what? I don't get it. So he didn't really fully connect with the character like I did. But yeah, that was the first thing I saw him in. And then from there, I liked him a lot, but I didn't really deep dive into it until like TikTok and seeing like him actually doing like the press tour stuff. And I was like, oh, Joe, that's a completely different thing than Eddie. And then I did the binge watch everything he's been in, and here I am.
I love it. What about you, Kel?
So I am from California, and I was originally an Eddie fan first. And then I watched it, along with everybody else. And then I had a surgery in August and I was on bed rest and I'm like, I'm going to watch it again. And then I just like fell in love with the character. I'm like, my gosh, this is just amazing, an amazing actor. And then I started to get into like the rest of his catalog of his work. And Time Wasters is like my favorite. I know that sounds so weird, but
Ralph.
Oh, we love Ralph.
So funny. And I'm just like, he has just so many like peaks and valleys. He is everything. So
Ralph deserves that like second chance of an ending. Like I would love to see a Ralph spinoff at some point, even if it's not with Joe, because I think Ralph as a character as a whole has so many layers. He's like an onion.
Does everyone have like a number one favorite Joe character?
I know what Danielle's is.
Me too.
Go ahead, D.
Leonard Bast, Howard's End.
10
out of 10.
Everyone loves a troubled man.
I think mine will forever be the drunken frat boy from the
Oh my gosh, Irish Mike.
Irish Mike video.
Irish Mike.
It was a full month after hearing that song that I would just randomly goes, Dublin's finest. Like everyone was so annoyed with me in my house. So like, stop doing that.
I'm done.
That's
That's
so
gonna be the
good.
rest of my week now. That should be the name of this podcast, this episode.
Dublin's finest.
Dublin's
Ginger.
finest.
Ooh,
Like,
yeah. Shannon,
Shannon,
what was your favorite? What's your favorite character?
Tom.
Oh,
Aw.
Tommy boy.
he's your first, right? He was your first introduction.
Don't say it like that.
He was your sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it was my first Joe movie / like thing I saw him in, even before Stranger Things. So
Yeah, we actually got to experience her watching makeup because that's when we had first started talking and our group chat started. And she was sending us all of the emotions. And she hadn't finished Stranger Things at this point. So she really got to fully experience Joe as Tom before she fully experienced Joe as Eddie.
Like I love your roof to Dungeons and
got a
Dragons.
you got a ski mask I could borrow.
So I want to know about this con. Like when America was begging for a con, we were like, please quench this thirst, Fan Expo,
Yes.
anybody. They announced it. Was it like an immediate, like, I'm going or else? Or did you have to like kind of go back and forth with yourself a little bit to figure out if you were going to go?
Ooh, immediately for me. So Emma, her and I had an agreement. Whenever he's announced, we're gonna go. She didn't end up being able to go, but immediately when in our group chat we posted like the shadow, they posted the shadow. I told my husband like months ago, like I'm telling you right now, if Joe gets announced in a con in the US, I don't care where it is, I'm going. And so when I saw the shadow, I was at work, I finished work and I went right into my husband's room and I'm like, look at the shadow, it's gonna be Joe. I'm going to New Orleans. This is happening. Like I am going. And he's like, okay, calm down. He's not even announced it. You don't know it's him. And I'm like, look at the shadow. Nothing else matches. It's happening. And so the very next day they announced it. And I went to my husband, I'm like, I'm going to New Orleans. Like I'm buying the con tickets. It's happening. He's like, okay, well, what do you want to dress up as? And that was it.
We love Keegan.
Yeah. That was our first Comic-Con too. We'd never been to a Comic-Con before too. So that was our first experience. That was our first experience at con. I was raised very poor. So the whole time we were there, me and my husband were both like, we are so blessed to be able to do this and like meet these people and know these people and like get to meet like the celebrities that we did and eat the way that we did and go see stuff the way that we did. It was amazing. And immediately, I know I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry, but immediately when we came back, my husband was like, you know, we've been to a good amount of places, and every time we come home, and I'm like, I'm so glad to be home. And he's like, this is the first time that I'm like, I actually miss New Orleans, and I love New Orleans. Like he's like, I want to go back.
That's awesome.
You really got to make a trip out of it too, because I think that whenever we got to see you guys had talked about like all the sightseeing that you were able to do and some of the good local food that you were able to. I think at one point I even asked you like where you had gone to eat so that I could try it.
Bananas.
How was that for you? Like figuring out if you were gonna, I think you had quite a bit of like a back and forth, right?
I did because in August I had gotten asked for my work if I wanted to go to New Orleans and speak on
At the con?
No, something totally different, not even related to this. It was related to my editing job. And I got asked if I wanted to speak in New Orleans. So I actually did do that on Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Friday, that's when my vacation officially started. But initially I had told them no, that I wasn't going to speak because they weren't going to pay for any of my stuff. So I was like, why would I do that? And then someone took my spot. Essentially, they gave it to somebody else. And then I was actually in, I don't remember which one of you three, the live that I was in of one of you three.
Yeah.
And I got a text from my manager and she's like, hey, the person, like one of our people just dropped out. Are you able to speak in New Orleans? And I'm like, yes. And like, I just booked it in like 5 minutes and I just like got everything. And I'm like, I'm in, I'm doing it. And then And then I went. So I did my work trip at the first half, and then the last half I went to Fan Expo, and it was amazing.
Because you
That's so
had to
awesome.
do the joint photo, right? Because it was
Yes.
Joe was already sold out at that point.
Yeah. And he didn't have Friday when I booked. So, but I was glad I did, because like you said in the last episode, Grace is lovely.
She's
Yeah.
She's just
and
good people.
I will forever be blown away by her. I think that if I were to ever see her at a con, I would gladly spend my money to have any type of interaction with her, because she was just, I mean, out of this world, so sweet. And I sound like a broken record at this point when I talk about it, but yeah, I think we were on live together when I was in Puerto Rico, and like I had the worst service, and you were telling me a little bit of the details of that.
Yeah, it was crazy, which is probably why I booked such a horrible hotel. Because I booked it in like 5 minutes. I was like, ooh, this sounds nice. And I booked it. There was bar soap everywhere. And that's it. No other things in the bathroom, just like ungodly amounts of bar soap, like 6 in the corner, 6 on top of the toilet, 6 in the shower. And then I pulled back my sheets, and there was like little red speckles of like blood on my sheets. And then so I just pulled the bed up, and then I went in my car and I drove down the road, and I called the front desk, and I'm like, I can't stay here. I'm like, I'm traveling by myself. I need to, stay somewhere else. And then I ended up staying in the French Quarter.
So it sounds like the next one that we go on, we're all going to plan together, and we're going as a group.
Now that you guys have met us and you're comfortable with us,
Yeah. Yeah.
MegaCon.
I know. So Kel had the autograph table and a photo. Aryn, you had just the 1-in-1, or like how many?
I had the photo with Joe and the autograph with Joe.
Okay. Do you want to tell us about that experience?
Yeah,
I want to hear Kel's story, because she has.
I wish you guys could see their faces right now. They're so excited to tell us. I want to hear every single detail. Do not slack on anything. Okay.
Kel, you go first, because I haven't
No
heard your
slack-a-lackin'.
full story yet.
Okay, I'll go first. So I was so nervous. I was making edits in line, like, to just like distract my mind. And I waited in line like an hour, maybe 2 hours early for my autograph. And I got my piece of paper, I got like picture of him, and I like walked in and I set it down, and I like looked up at the manager, and the manager's like, oh, you have a beautiful smile. And I'm like, thank you. And then I saw Joe, and I'm like, oh, and he's like, you have beautiful eyes. And I'm
Get
like,
out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
What?
I know.
What?
Wait, so
I know.
both
Like,
Alex
back to
and
back.
Joe told you,
I know.
get
And I'm
out of
like,
here.
Can I just
Disconnect
stay
her
here
from
for the
here.
rest of my life?
Can
And
I
then-
intern for you guys, or like, what's the deal here? Like, are you gonna hire me on?
Yeah. And he's like, oh, hi, Kel. Hi, Kel. He just kept saying my name. I'm like, don't stop. Say my name forever. But he signed my little thing. And yeah. And
We need a
then,
one-syllable name so that we could just be like, I'm Shan now. Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Shan.
yes, that's what you need. And then after that was it was a really good interaction with him, and he signed my little picture, and I would say it was about 15 seconds long. Like, it was very fast. And then the next one was my picture, same thing, front of the line, because I was a rookie, and it was very fast. But I showed up, and Grace is like, you're so beautiful. And he's like, you are. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then he put his hand on my lower back, and he like rubbed it, and then grabbed my waist and pulled me in. And then she like pulled me closer to her too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are just so nice.
No.
I'm just gonna.
Deceased.
It was great. It was so nice. And then he's like, okay, bye, love. See you later. And I'm like, when? when?
When's it my turn?
And it was just great. I mean, they both looked so cute, and his outfit was everything. He just looked expensive. He had like Gucci loafers on.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the first thing I noticed when I saw him. I was like, look at those Gucci loafers with
Goofy
the
Gucci.
red and gold
a lot of the times too on like TikTok, I'll see people saying like, oh, he looks so tired, he looks so burnt out. Opposite.
Mhm.
He was glowing, he was
Yeah.
happy, he looked like he was genuinely excited about us being there. And I don't think that's just my delusion talking. I think that
No,
he was
100%.
really excited. I don't know.
Mhm.
It was very, very fun.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that subject after we're done talking about their experiences, because there's a lot to unpack in what you just said, because you've
Mhm.
got the version of what you think is going on in a con because you've never been to one. And then you have the other hand that has been to one and you did get to see him firsthand. So we're going to circle back to that because I think that's a awesome low point to talk about. Arynn, tell us
unpack it,
everything.
baby. Let's hear it.
So I did my photo first. And I was lucky enough to be at the very front of the line in row 2. So I got to stand there with a very thin curtain watching him take photos with other people, like a little bit distorted because they didn't have double curtain action, so it was just the one curtain. So I was standing up there turning back to Laura and Danielle and being like, this is what I'm seeing, trying to mouth it to them because you guys were far back in line, and I'm like, he's wearing a tiara, he's wearing a tiara.
Like, it's a 2 chain day.
I was literally like, it's 2 chains. I could see it glinting off the light through the curtain. And so I was already I was like really excited. I'm like, I can kind of see him a little bit through the curtain. And then, I'm starting to freak out because I see the line next to me going, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm next. I'm like, and then of course you go into the room while other people are taking photos too. So that's the first time you see him, and I'm like overwhelmed with the feeling of like, he's a real person. I feel like anyone who actually sees a celebrity in real life is like this moment of like, you've seen them so much on your phone that you kind of like disassociate from it. And seeing him in real life, I was like, he's real and he's in front of me. He's alive. It's alive. And of course, the person you go up and they're like, as soon as the flash goes off, you go right next to him and take the photo and then you're out. So I didn't really say anything to him with the photo. I was just like, he was just like, hi. And then we took the photo and then I went away. So not really a whole lot. I was very overwhelmed. But I did like taking the photo first because I could kind of be like, okay, it gave me a little bit of time to figure out like what I wanted to say to him with the autograph. I did the autograph the same day as my photo. And so I went for the autograph and had my photo. It was just like a poster of Eddie. And scooted it over and I was like, hi, Joe. And he's like, hi, how you doing? I'm like, good. And then he said my name. He said, Arynn. But I was like, I loved you as Will in Middlemarch, because if you guys haven't listened to the audiobook Middlemarch, he plays a character, or he voices a character called Will Ladislaw, and love it. But I said, of course, there's no posters for that because it's an audiobook. And he's like, well, he's like, oh, Middlemarch, wow. Like he looked very surprised, like he had forgotten he was in that, because it's not as big obviously as his other stuff. He said like, this is for you, sweetheart. And I was like, thank you. And he's like, thank you. And I keep in mind, I like didn't really do eye contact with him the whole time I was like talking to him because I'm really bad. And so I turned to like walk away and like made eye contact with him. He smiled and said, bye, love. And I was like,
it's so surreal, right? Kind of going from like seeing this person in like a 5.5-inch screen to like having him in person there. And it almost feels like a dream, because I've dreamt about it for sure. But like at the same time, you're like, what is happening? I also did make eye contact with him. I feel so dumb for not doing it, because like
I knew at the end, I was like, if I don't make eye contact with him now, like I'm gonna regret it, because I always said like, I want to look into his eyes and like say something to him, but I'm on the autism spectrum. I'm really bad about eye contact, like super bad about it. But at the end there, I'm like, this is my last chance. And so I did, and I do not regret it at all. And his smile just lights up the world.
I just want to say something about his eyes.
Don't we all?
Pictures and videos do not do those justice.
Wouldn't know.
They are like honey. Like they remind me of like a deep, dark, like honey. And they kind of like glow a little bit. I don't know if it was the fluorescence hitting his eyes, but I was literally like, I went.
They like light. It's like every time he's like done talking to somebody else and he looks at a new person, they like re-light up with joy.
Yes.
I swear. He's like so excited to meet like everybody, is like has the interaction, turn to the next person, smile, and like you can just tell that the joy reaches his eyes. It's not one of those fake encounters with like a celebrity, you know, they were like smile but it never reaches their eyes.
Like Evan Peters. Yeah, I know.
Stop. Get out of here. Stop talking bad about Evan.
Evan is great.
Look at that haterade.
Hey, did you know
Evan.
Jeffrey Dahmer went to the wait? What did you say?
Jeffrey Dahmer won the Golden Globe.
Yeah.
Did you see that Jeffrey Dahmer wore Dior to the Golden Globe?
Yeah. I showed that TikTok to
I
my husband
died.
and he cracked up at that.
Oh,
I know. I was in the coffee shop. I was like cackling. I'm like, oh my gosh. So funny.
Oh my God. Well, I'm hearing these stories about his eyes and I'm like envious as if I didn't get to be in New Orleans to experience. I feel like I missed out on like all of it because I'm like, where the fuck was I looking? Like,
You'll get
you
another
were looking
chance.
at the fashion. You were looking at the fashion.
you know what? I am
The
just a
fashion
fashion correspondent. No, I came to the conclusion that I was looking in like the general vicinity of his face, but like maybe past his face. Like I
Sure.
was a different focal point that was not his eyes because Medusa.
I was just looking down at his hands when he was signing. There's the thing. Like I was just watching him like signing my poster. So I wasn't like looking at him until I was like walking away. And
I have a
they
staring
are.
problem. So
I found myself when he was
the
signing.
blue eyes.
I was like, I want to keep eye contact. So if I look too far down, my eyes won't make it back up. So I just stared at his like curly head while he was looking down.
Oh my God.
I
Yeah,
made sure with the photo that when I said hi, I looked at him, but I didn't look at him again, like for the photo. And then for the autograph, I wanted to see his face when I gave him the gift because he's like, this is for you, and he looked directly at my face and I'm like, and this is for you, and I'm like, oh, I'm staring, and then I like was doing one of these, but I got his like facial expression. He was so excited.
Let me see
but
the
yeah.
facial expression that he gave you when he got the action figure.
oh my God.
He's so good at making eye contact with fans though too, and making you feel like you're the only person there in front of him.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like looking around and like just looking down. Like when he hands it to you and says, this is for you, he looks at you like right in the face and like smiles at you and makes you feel special, which I think is amazing.
I just want to go
Um,
back.
They always say don't meet your idols. It's not that way with him.
No.
Am I the only person that didn't give him a gift? I feel so bad.
I didn't give him a gift.
Okay.
I didn't give him a gift either. I planned on giving him a patch and then I was gonna get him like a little gift bag with a bunch of tequila in it for like the sake of decompression. It was
Yeah.
like I was gonna get him like tequila bottle shooters
Sure.
and be like, here, take it on the plane and have a good flight home. Like
But see, that's what Emma was saying too, is that she was gonna like, oh, I would bring him a shot. And that's the thing about that kind of stuff is I feel like if I were a celebrity and somebody were gonna bring me that, like I would throw it away. Not, you know, it's
'Cause you
just you
don't
got
know.
too many crazy fans.
Yeah.
It could so easily be tampered with nowadays that I'm just like, I don't trust it.
you wanted to go back to a topic, D. What did we want to go back to?
I just wanted to touch on him
Right.
looking tired because out of all of the comments and all of the things that you hear about cons is he looks so tired. He's so overworked. And I don't know if it's because we got really lucky and got a very smooth con, because there have been some that we've heard about that have not been great.
Yeah.
But when I tell you this man is probably tired, don't get me wrong. We've all
Oh,
seen
yeah.
what he's done the last 7 months, but he was so, to see it firsthand, you don't know anything until you see him in action. He was so happy, overjoyed, enthusiastic. If he was tired, he didn't let us know.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that, because I felt that way too before I went to a convention for the first time. You read the comments and then you look at the pictures and you're like, oh, I guess he does really look tired and how he interacts. But then seeing it firsthand, it's a completely different Joe than what you're seeing on the pictures.
I slept. Listen, I was traveling for 4 weeks and I slept for an entire day. I cannot imagine living the life that he's been living for the past 7 months
Yeah.
and not, I mean, like this, the way I look right now is not because I'm not wearing 17 pounds of makeup and have 2 lights like shining on me right now, because let me tell you, it is rough underneath all of this. And I've only been traveling for 4 weeks. He's been traveling for so long. Like,
I mean, that's what I told my husband. We went back home to Washington for Christmas, came back here for 3 days, and immediately drove down to NOLA. And so I was like, I can't imagine like being like what he's been doing, where he's like, he's in London, he's in Paris, he's in Canada, he's in Germany, he's in Japan, he's in the US, and it's like all that traveling. But I mean, with the time differences too, with like going from all those different time different. So I'm like, if he was back home in London for Christmas and then flew out here for NOLA, just the time difference alone would mess you up.
mess him up. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's like the number one thing that I see on some of the posts, and sometimes I just don't even agree. And like, I think he looks great.
Yeah.
And
I
then
agree.
seeing it in person, he looked excited to be there. His skin looked great. He didn't look tired in his eyes. His eyes were like electric.
Yeah.
And he didn't look like that way at all. But also back to like us, small scale, I met a lot of people that followed me online, and I met a lot of people that read my fan fiction. And even with that interaction, I was exhausted, and I could not imagine having hours and hours and lines of people wanting to meet me, because I met, a few handfuls of people, and I was like,
Overstimulated.
I feel that like me
overstimulated.
and my husband are like, we're gonna dress up for con, and we dressed up on Friday because it's the shortest day. It was from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. and not a lot of people dress up on Friday. So because we were dressed up to the nines, it was like every 5 minutes it was like, can we get a photo? Can we get a photo? And then we had like actual people that were doing like photography for the Fan Expo, like doing photos and stuff like that. And I'm like, I was by the end of the day, I'm like, I am exhausted. I'm so tired of like smiling and taking photos. So I can't imagine doing an actual photo op where it's like smile, 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 smile. And no wonder he hides his mouth and like doesn't smile all the way. Photo op after photo op after photo op. And that's how I felt by the end of the day. I'm like, I don't want to smile anymore. I'm tired. Just been taking photos
I'm
all
glad
day.
you touched on that, because I am a very social person and I love having that high energy, but I was just depleted by Sunday night. Like, I can't imagine.
See, I'm not. I'm like I said, I'm on the autism spectrum, so it's a lot for me. It was a lot like just trying to look at stuff and having people wanting to take photos with you and like being in your face and like waiting in lines, like all that was a lot. Totally worth it. I absolutely loved every minute. But I did want to ask Kel if this is fine. Because how did you first find the Quintessential podcast? Because I don't know if I've asked you that.
Oh my God, I love
Sure.
these stories.
So I actually found it because I think I followed Shannon first. And and then I saw her post about it, and then I added the 3 of you, and then I followed you like individually before I actually listened to the podcast. And then I was going to like a girls trip with my friends, and I had a super long layover, and I listened to like almost all of your stuff in like one day, and I'm like, I learned so much. Like, this is so much more than just like let's get on here and talk about Joe. Like, I learned about like all of his movies and all of his fashion and like just different things about him, and it was just like, this is perfect. This is amazing, and it's such a good community. And I think, if people are looking at it from the outside, they might see like him and just talking about a guy all day. But it's like,
Mhm.
no, it's so much more than that.
Yeah, that's
And
why I tried to explain to my husband too. I said, with the podcast, it's not just all about Joe. They talk about the female gaze and, other celebrities and just like life and pop culture, all that kind of stuff. And like you said, from the outside, it's like, oh, it's just a podcast about Joe, but it's not.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
inspired by Joe.
yes,
You
I mean,
guys.
and that's what I've
Don't
gathered
cry.
from it.
I'm not. I just, it's been kind of crazy the past week or so. There's been so much positivity. But it's like with every bit of positivity, you get, a little bit of the other end of that. So I don't know. It's just so great to have people like you guys to talk to, and then you say these really nice things.
And that's the great thing. I texted you guys too the night that we went out to the bar that you guys didn't, or after you guys left. It was after you guys left the bar. We went back inside and there was this girl wearing a Hellfire t-shirt, and I was like, oh, hey, like started up a conversation with them, and they listened to the Quintessential podcast. So not only, are we connecting about, the Stranger Things and Joseph Quinn and like meeting him and stuff, but it's like, oh, you also listen to the podcast. So you're bringing people together like that too. Not that he's
Holy
happy.
That's all we
Holy
wanted. That's
crap.
all we want.
Yes.
But I actually found Laura first. And Lauren knows this. I was in your lives.
You were my lives.
I was in your lives very,
Yes.
very early on. And then I made friends with Dee because I think she was in Laura's live, and then I made friends with Shannon last, which you can cut this out if you want to. But I told my husband, I said, after Shannon actually friended me back, she's the last one. I said I've collected all the Quintessentials girls. So Pokemon, I collected them all.
We're like the Infinity Stones.
Infinity
I
Stones.
catch them all.
Yeah,
That's
but I
amazing.
collected them.
I remember the first message I got from Arynn. We hit it off right away. We were talking about like theater and the things that you had seen, and I was like, this girl, she's pretty rad. And I'm so excited that it's kind of come full circle and that I get to meet some of these ones that I'm like, I fangirled whenever you guys followed me.
Yeah.
And I was like, seeing you guys in person and then hanging out with you guys I'm over the moon. I'm so excited to have you guys
I
in my
was
life.
so nervous. I was like, what if they don't like me in real life? I was like,
Stop.
what if they
No
like,
way.
what if they're just like, oh, get away from me?
We felt the
No.
same way. Like there were so many times where even I think
scary.
Danielle was the one that said it, where like she would, kind of look at certain people and be like, I hope we're what you think we were,
You
like,
said that to
we're
me.
what you
Yeah,
expected.
you said that. You were like, oh, well, I hope you actually like us. And I was like, no, you guys are amazing. I wouldn't invite you out multiple nights in a row if I didn't like you guys. But I'm like, what if I'm annoying them? What if they don't actually like me? And they're like,
No.
leave me alone.
No, we loved you. We loved you.
So I brought this up during the live that Danielle was on just now, and I think it's like a really good topic. We touched on how this started out as a hyperfixation, but do you think this is still a hyperfixation, or do you think this is just like a lifelong fandom? Because I mean, like a hyperfixation almost has like, it doesn't feel as an obsession. Like I don't feel, and I mean, I do, but I don't feel that all consuming obsession that I felt with Joe, back in like July, August, September, right?
Mhm.
October,
Yes.
November, December.
I totally feel that. Like I said, mental illness. So I've gone through a lot of hyperfixations in my life, and I was not like a One Directioner, or like my first concert was Jonas Brothers. So I did have like at 13, like a super hyperfixation on
love
them,
that.
and that. Well, my husband's first concert was the Backstreet Boys. I told you guys that. So
I love that even more.
I love him.
So good.
So it was definitely hyperfixation. Like I said, I binge watched everything he was in, and now I've seen everything he's in, and I feel like it's lessened a little bit. It's not as like crazy for me now, where I was just constantly like, update, any updates, any more updates. But now it's gotten to the point where like it's not like super hyperfixation, but like I'm like comfortable in it. Like I still love him. I will watch everything he's in still, like anything new that comes out and any, updates that, people send me, our group chat, my friends.
Like you will support him for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Shannon, we're gonna
And
say
I don't feel
something.
like it's something that's gonna like fully fade.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either, because I know I had hyperfixation on Leonardo DiCaprio and it's still there, but
Wait, how old are you? How
old
old are you?
enough to party.
No, but he has an age
His number,
limit.
he doesn't
He's
date
got an
past
age
26.
limit.
Yeah, no. I am
Are you older
elderly to
26?
him.
Oh.
Elderly to him. But I think he's gonna be the same way. Just you follow his career as he goes. He's an excellent actor. Mhm.
Especially after meeting him.
Yeah.
Lifelong
Mhm.
supporter, just the person that he is. Sometimes you meet a celebrity and it's like, oh wow, he is not a nice person and maybe I'm not gonna follow the way that I did before. But now after meeting him, it's like 100% I support you in everything that you
Yeah,
do.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I was just going to mention that we may feel like our obsessions calm down, but the moment they drop a new photo shoot, we're all going to die again.
We're all like,
yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that green suit.
The perfect thing to kind of like call this, and I think we said it in the live, that this is now just a way of life,
A lifestyle. Right.
It is.
the lifestyle.
Right.
And
yeah.
Shannon made a very good point that we can now go through our day where he's not right here every second of every day.
Mhm. But he's back here.
He's back here.
But
He's
he's
back
in there.
here.
But like once something new happens, I'm immediately like
And I feel like
checking it.
it's this way with a lot of fandoms. My little sister, she was in the age of the One Direction and she had the perfume, she had the poster, she was obsessed with all of them, and she has made friends in that, online friends that she is still super close with to this day, even though they're not a band anymore. They're all doing separate stuff. They don't really talk that much about actual One Direction, but they're lifelong friends from that. And I feel like
Mhm.
that's you guys and like us and stuff like that. Even if he stops acting, knock on wood, never gonna happen. But even if it is, it's like you made those friends from that, and you'll always be bonded over that. It's not something that
Mhm.
just like fades away.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's such a community, and that's what I got from Fan Expo. And then it was really nice too, just like seeing all of the different communities there, like just a group of people hyper fixating on
Mhm.
their own thing, loving everything that was going on. And it was like, if you haven't ever been to a con before, just it's amazing.
Just go.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
go. Just
Did
do
you
it.
did you go to cons before, Cal?
I did. I went to ones in Denver
Okay.
when I lived in Fort Collins. So
I mean,
yeah.
I've been a lifelong nerd. I mean, Doctor Who, I'm rewatching it again right now. But like the very nerdy stuff, and never got to go to a con. So this was like the first like big, because I've gone to big concerts and stuff like that, and it's a totally different vibe. But going to con when you're
Mhm.
surrounded by like nerds who are like really into the stuff that I've always been into, and feeling like you're surrounded by people who like understand and aren't going to judge you, and everyone that asked to take a photo with us and stuff were so nice. Everyone was so nice, and I'm like, this is so strange from being at like a concert where people are like shoving you and like mosh pitting and
Mhm.
like, get out of my way, I want to be at
Yeah.
the front and like drunk and all this, and all these people are just like
There's just so much
Yes.
love in that building. Like at any given moment,
the
Mhm.
energy. It's
any
just
given moment. And it's like, it makes you wonder, because we're all very active in social media. It's like you see the toxicity, you acknowledge it, and you just keep going on with your life. But it is hard to not get wrapped up in that type of feeling whenever that's what, like, this is part of my life now. But then
Mhm.
you go into these cons and it's nowhere. There's no
Yeah.
toxicity in that building. Everybody was so lovely, so welcoming. They'd answered
Yeah.
questions. Like,
Mhm. That's
were
how you know
encouraging,
that the
too.
toxicity doesn't come from the actual fans. It comes from people
Mhm.
outside of the fandom that just want to bring us down and judge us and stuff like that. Because if you actually go to the con where the people actually care about who they're going to see, you don't see that toxicity and that judgment and all of that. It's people
exactly.
trying to bring the fans down. And we've seen that after the con. We've seen the stuff that people have posted and the photos that they've taken from
Mhm.
other people's profiles and posted, and
Mhm.
just the rudest people. But it's like, you know what? We have a community and you're not in it, obviously, if
Yeah.
you're gonna do stuff like this. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be able to plug your guys's socials and fan fiction. So if you did we touch on everything, Danielle and Shannon? Was there anything else you wanted to touch on?
I just miss you guys a lot.
I miss you too. And I wish we could go out next
I
weekend.
know.
I know. I'm like, where are we gonna do this? We gotta figure something out. Like, I know I'm driving up to North Carolina again here in the next month, and I'm like, how do I detour? I know.
come on. I will take you out.
Aryn, do you want to plug your socials and if you have anything going on?
Yeah, so TikTok, it's Arynn Brady. It's ARYNNBRADY, and Instagram is Brady ARY004.
Or
I
as
don't
Joe
really got
calls
anything
her,
going on.
Aryn.
Aryn.
Aryn. He
And
really
then-
pronounces the a lot.
Aryn.
Aryn.
And then Ms. Kel, do you want to go ahead and let us know what you got going on?
Yeah. So I have a TikTok page and I'm at Kelmo_2. And it is a mix of crazy edits and other things. It's just a menagerie. It's whatever I want it to
menagerie.
be. But so that's that. And then I also write fan fiction, and that's Kelmo33. And I'm on AO3 Wattpad and Tumblr.
Ooh, she got a
Tumblr girl.
Tumblr.
Tumblr
know.
girl.
Go give it a read.
Subscribed.
Subscribed. Our
One last
socials.
guess.
Oh my gosh, Jeffrey.
The Zaddy has arrived.
Cafe.
We have missed
The
Jeffrey.
Zaddy.
Jeffrey
Who's
is
the
out.
who's the oldest like man crush that you guys have? You guys have
Currently,
Ooh.
Oldest in
like
age.
the oldest in age.
Harrison Ford.
Oh, really? How old is he now? He's
Like
gotta
he's
be
in
80
his-
plus.
80? No.
I
No.
mean, here's the thing. My favorite movie is
How old is
Working
Harrison
Girl.
Ford?
How old?
80.
Ooh.
My
oh
favorite
my
movie is Working Girl. And have you seen Working Girl? Anybody? No, just me, Danielle.
No.
Okay, go watch it. It's with Melanie Griffith, Harrison Ford, and Sigourney Weaver. And Harrison Ford altered my brain chemistry. I mean,
He's actually the nicest celebrity. He would rent out places, basically Airbnbs before Airbnbs existed, when he was doing like movies and stuff. When he would get stressed from movies, he would actually fix up their houses for them. He would just do housework for them, like fix like sinks and somebody came back to like their guest house and he had like completely like fixed up all the things that were wrong with them, because he used to be a carpenter. And so he would
That's
just,
right.
as stress, when he would get stressed, he would just fix up the houses for them.
It's amazing.
who is your guys' oldest celebrity crush?
Jeff Goldblum.
I
I've had a
Solid.
crush on him my entire life. Since
feel
Jurassic
like
Park.
I feel like Keanu Reeves is like my number 2,
Yes.
right?
Oh God. Yeah.
Mine- I'm
I
a
cannot think of the title of the movie that he is in, but they're super aggressive, but they're amazing. And it's like there's a dog
Yeah.
and somebody kills his dog.
Oh,
Wick.
it's
John
yeah.
Wick?
John Wick.
I've never seen it.
John.
They kill his
Serious.
dog.
I was
I'm
like,
like
I
on
watched it for
like
the first time and I was like, oh my God, John Wick.
look, you guys, if you guys have seen The Matrix, see the third one. He's got that he's Beard Neo and it's fucking
I've
amazing.
seen all of those. Yeah, I love the
Oh.
Matrix movies.
So good.
I asked that question and I don't really even know if I have one. I mean, the closest one I can think of is Viggo Mortensen, because I've always been a huge
Ooh.
Aragorn fan.
Yeah.
And he's aged pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't really think I have. I asked that question to you guys just because of Jeff Goldblum, but I can't actually think of like an older celebrity other than him.
Who's yours?
I'm a
Johnny
big
Depp.
Parent Trap fan, and Dennis Quaid. Ooh,
Ooh.
I
Ooh.
can't with him.
I love him.
Really?
Yes.
His smile freaks me out.
Back in
Okay,
the
well,
day,
listen,
like
sometimes people's smiles are a little weird, okay?
it's Evan Peters' eyes and Dennis Quaid's smile. Just put them on a face.
Dennis Quaid's smile has, it kind of freaks me out a little bit. He's got a little bit of a Pennywise.
I find it
Yes.
so hard to believe he's never been cast as the Joker.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Like,
Okay, now I have to
why?
like Google a picture of him smiling.
Just wait.
It's a little bit, it is
It's
a little
just-
bit.
I just love
A little
him.
unsteady.
He is very Jokerish. Yeah, I can see it.
I love it. He's so handsome.
Look at this photo though. Tell me that. Wait, see if it'll focus. Look, tell me that smile isn't a Joker smile.
Hello?
Okay, you have
Oh
my
my
point.
God.
You guys. Ooh.
Here's Johnny. That's what
Anyway.
that reminds me of.
Speaking of Johnny, that's mine, Johnny Depp. So
Ooh.
Johnny Depp.
since What's Eating Gilbert Grape when I was a baby
Nightmare on Elm
child.
Street with the
Oh.
crop top, dude.
Oh,
nice.
yes.
Top
But
Johnny.
I love the tortured soul that he was in Gilbert Grape. It was so
Yeah.
good. And
Oh
then
my
I'm sure
God.
you know
I
Cal
love
Leo was
Gilbert
in
Grape.
that. So
Mm-hmm.
So
Have you
He
seen
did
that?
so good in that.
I forgot about crop top
Gilbert
Johnny
Grape.
Depp.
Anyway. Well,
Anyways.
ladies, this has been a lot of fun. Come back and see us, please. We love having you. And then honestly, if you don't follow Kel or Arynn, what are you doing? We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're amazing. And yeah, thank you for coming on. Let's do it again. We'll
Yes,
see you
thanks for
guys in
having
Orlando.
us on.
Yeah, thank you. So fun.
Yay!
So fun. So
Bye.
fun.
Hi.
Hello.
We are back for part 2 of part 2. We're so excited. This episode, we've gotten to talk to a couple of really great people, but I think we're really excited about our guest right now because not only did we like completely hit it off with her when we were at the con, but the entire Joseph Quinn fandom fell in love with her. And I think you went a little bit viral, right? Like at least along with the fandom, people were like posting about you and talking about how great she was. So please welcome Jade.
The applause in my head.
I know.
Oh, well, I couldn't believe y'all didn't know each other. Like, I thought that y'all had been best friends forever because I did listen to the last one.
You
And I
did,
was like,
huh?
what? That was the first time y'all met each other?
Yeah, in person. Yeah.
Shannon and
Oh.
Laura had met each other a few times, but I'm just here smack dab in the middle of the United States in the Midwest. And I'm like, are you guys having a good time? I hope you're having the best time.
When's it my turn?
When is it my turn? So that was the first time all three of us had been in the same room together.
Yeah.
It was
Literally.
wild.
3 days
Literally the same
or
room.
4 days.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ugh.
I mean, it worked too. We were like, we've talked about this, but we were a little worried that like it's like our first time meeting, we're sharing a room and all that good stuff. But so you've been to Fan Expo several times because working Fan Expo isn't how you got involved with this world. You've done this for quite a while. Do you want to tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that?
Sure. So I love cosplay. I've been a big nerd forever. And in 2014 was when I went to my first con and had no idea what to expect. Had my little Pikachu onesie on, my little long pink hair.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, I know that character and I know that character. And just being able to talk to all these people about stuff that I was like, oh, other people are into this. I was in heaven. And so I started going often, just making all these friends. Like, I need to be this world.
Mm.
Right. Exactly.
So I started working for them in like 2019 and started off as just, your ticket scanner, that the first person you see. And, I've got my energy and I was like, bring your tickets over here. Let me scan it. And they were like, we need your energy over here.
Yeah. They snatched you up real quick.
They did. And I was working in the anime voice actors area. And it was just, I was like, oh, these are my people. And I don't get to cosplay as much now, but as you see, I do like to wear my little, like, I try to
Yeah.
put something on. The goal is to be able to cosplay. So I'm working on a
That
bunch
would
of
be
stuff with some
amazing.
friends right now.
Oh man. So you had, I remember when we met that you talked about how your whole thing was to be like as helpful as possible and make sure that people had a really good experience.
That's what gets me is the mom or dad or grandma that's like, okay, I brought my kid here. They're really into this anime or they're into this character. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, you do this, and this, I just, and then at the end of the con, well, my first one I worked at the end of that con, somebody came up to me, the family, and they were like, you helped me so much. We would have had no idea. Nobody else was able to like really give us the details that we needed. I'm like, well, it's because I'm experienced. I know how to get the best out of the con. But when they would just come back and they're like, they would just give me like the biggest bear hug and just so grateful. And I'm like, I'm a fan too. So it's like I know that anxiety of being like, I don't want to miss out on the panel. I don't want to miss their autograph. So being able to help those people and like, because y'all know it was a little confusing because Joseph's line was had the ticket thing. And that was a little different where most of the autograph lines, you can either walk up or you have your QR code and you just still walk up. But I was by myself the first day, like just being like, okay, we got to do this, we got to do that. And just like one person would come up and I would see a group of people behind them. And I'm like, oh, I know all five of those people have the same question. And, just being able to direct them. Yeah, I came back and saw all of y'all after your signings and that your little joy and hugging Miss Gwen, the security guard lady. She was, but that's amazing to me. Yeah, it is awesome getting to like I've worked with some really awesome like voice actors. I was with Eduardo Stranger Things, so that's my thing. I'm like I'm here to help people because it is fun, and if I get to talk to somebody like Henry Winkler, the fawn.
What?
Yes. Yes.
I would have died.
Oh my gosh. And my first instinct isn't like, oh, let me get my phone out to be there and just kind of be in that, just look somebody in the eye, be present and just be like, oh my gosh, this is my job right now. This is so cool.
I can't believe that. Like, I remember I saw Henry Winkler and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I think it's because I've seen him most recently in that show, Barry, like as early as like the week before I went. And so I think I was like not equally as starstruck, but because I had seen him most recently on TV when I saw him right there in person, I was like, Mr. Cousineau. Like, it was so fun. Oh my God. So did you get to like interact with Joe or his team or anything? Like, was that something that you were able to do at any point?
This was probably the first time I didn't actually get to like meet him straight up. I was in the room with them a little bit. Very sweet. Like I said, I have I am like really weird about like my rules, I'm like, if I know there's a celebrity there and I'm like, I'm not gonna live just because I'm like, that's their respect. I get real nervous. I opened a door on Elijah Wood one time and I just ran. I was so nervous. And so I got to be in the room with him a little bit. I worked with his team mainly and just running that line because it was going so fast. It was nice. They let us pick out a photo to get an autograph, which was nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I know. It's fun. I have like my little collection, my little autograph. I got to go to the panel for a little bit. That was fun. I think I saw you. all the fangirls. I've dubbed y'all the Quinn fans.
Oh, I love that. Yes, we are the Quinn fans.
Do y'all have a fan name?
We haven't really been given one yet. We have a group chat called the Quinnies, but shout out girls. We're not like Tom Hiddleston level yet. I mean, we are well on our way. We're manifesting.
Oh yeah. Calling y'all the Hellfire Sisterhood.
Ooh.
That's what I kept calling y'all when I was like tweeting. I was like, oh, the Hellfire Sister Club's here, sisterhood or whatever. I really like that.
That's a good one.
Love that.
You should coin that. That's pretty great. I love that. Which one is the next one that you're going to be doing? Are you doing Dallas?
Definitely doing Dallas. I'll most likely do Denver. We're trying to do WonderCon because like I said, I'm a huge cosplay person, and the Orlando one is big on cosplay.
Yeah.
Also, the Eddie Munson cosplays were on fleek that weekend.
They were,
Oh.
weren't they?
So
There were
good.
so
There were
many
some
good
people that were
ones.
like, that's just you. That's you're not wearing a costume. Or like the girl with the wings, the devil wings.
I saw
Yes.
her. Yes.
That was really cool.
Oh.
They had Portland this weekend, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to do as many as I can, you know.
So are we.
It's hard, you know.
You said Orlando. Is it MegaCon that you're looking at doing in Orlando? Oh my God. Okay.
Yes.
Well, good.
I want to so bad.
Good. You should. We're probably going to be there.
Okay, because he was announced for that one, or has he been announced for any other ones yet?
Not
Did you
yet.
see how big our eyes just got? We were like, what?
No, I
So,
don't know.
As of today, we have not gotten any. Listen, let me give you the rundown because I'm the social media manager. So I'm literally on the
Okay.
internet all day long. MegaCon literally has nobody posted. And we're like, hello, get it together. Philadelphia Philly is announcing tomorrow a big guest. And then Dallas is announcing a big guest.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, it's the lines that they put in their caption that says, find out why this is our best year yet, or like, this is our year. And I'm like, you're literally giving it away.
Yeah, like you're quoting Eddie at this point.
That's
like,
that's it. Aw.
please.
Fucking Steve from
Steve,
Blue's Clues. It's gonna be at MegaCon.
No.
that's it. Ticket purchased. Your face. I love it.
He is the Swiss man. Okay, one thing I will say about working con, like I'm a very sentimental person. Like I love going to con. Those are my people.
Yeah.
I will cry so easily though. Like I was working near the princesses and it was a mother and daughter dressed as Belle and I was just, oh, it's so sweet. You know, just like I was saying, I feed off of y'all's like anxiety when y'all get up there. I love how you couldn't say something. I did a meet and greet with Nathan Fillion in Denver, like when I was still going as a cosplayer. You're so anxious and say anything like, yeah. And I just feed off of that for you guys. So much love and joy that your body has to express it some way. And it's like, I don't want to be shaking anymore. So you're just like, I just have to let it out. Just let it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just,
I think that's exactly what happened, at least with Shannon during her photo op. She was probably so nervous that like the tears hit. And then from the other side of the fucking hall, I was like, stop it, stop crying.
I saw him through the curtain, like his silhouette, and then I wasn't nervous at all until I saw him. And then I held it all back in after Laura like was, demanding the tears go away. And then I came
was
back
like, your
out and then I cried
picture,
again.
you paid so much money for this picture. You don't want to fuck this up.
photo op. Yes. But yours turned out good.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
she's the best one out of all three of us.
Oh,
She got the embrace.
Do I need to
She
pull it
got
back
the-
out?
Yes, pull it up.
All right, hold up.
Please.
Hold up.
It was so cute. I feel like he felt that energy of like her nerves and her tears, and like he was like, oh, let me like, guide you along this process. And like it was just so sweet.
Because like both Laura and I, we went up and we're like, hi, Joe. And like we were very just like, because he mirrors energy. Like you kind of are like he's going to be very gentle and very soft spoken with you.
Right.
So I'm like, I want the Joe that I see in like the interviews with Jamie. Like that's what I want. So I went in and I said, hi, Joe. And he's like, hello. And I'm like, ah!
Accents. Ugh.
Yes.
Let's see it, Shannon.
Show it. Look at her picture. Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness. Oh, and you look so good in your picture. And he's like,
Oh my
Not
god.
as- She like grabbed me. I was just gonna be like, ee, and yeah. So
That's a major flex. You got Joe to cuddle you. You didn't have to cuddle Joe.
well, so then I
Cool.
came out. They're like, yeah, that best photo. I'm like, I literally didn't do anything.
You know what? That's where we fucked up, D. We had too much of a plan going into it. You just
Yep.
gotta wing it, and like it was our first one, Jade. Like we have
your
never
first Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Not mine.
I'd been to MegaCon once, just one day, like 2011 or something, like forever ago. But I never really went back or did anything with it. And then, but this weekend was like the first time when I was like there all 3 days, did photo ops, autograph tables, panels, vendors, and all of that. I mean, like me and Dee are like, okay, this is our plan. We're going to map out our week. Honestly, we should have just come see you and like have you like help us map out, like, but next time
Yeah.
you're going to be the first person that we go see.
I'd never been to one in my whole entire life. I'd never experienced, I've seen pictures and videos of it, and I've always thought, oh, that'd be so much fun. That looks like such a loving community. But when I walked in, I was like, this is awesome. This is amazing. Laura said we tried to keep a plan, but it's like, you can't. You just have to like live in the moment when you're in a situation like that.
I think maybe that's why I myself kind of blacked out from meeting Joseph, is because I was so focused on like, I gotta tell him about the podcast.
I
know. That's so
if
true.
I don't tell him I failed, I wasted my money.
Oh.
And you're just planning it over and over again in your head.
Yeah,
I know that.
And
then you get in there and you don't say anything that you've thought of. Like it just is, see you later.
I wanted to tell him how great his skin looked because I'm an esthetician. You know what? It's fine. He got his legless action figure. So
That is so sweet. I love that you nerded out.
Who have you nerded out over like the hardest besides Elijah
That's
Wood?
what I was trying to think of. Yeah, Elijah Wood. It was one of those cons I was working and I wasn't expecting to see him at all. I was like, I was like, that line's insane. I'm not even gonna try. But yeah, and I just ran. I'm trying to think. There's been a couple people that, Nathan Fillion, but like a comedy nerd too. So like I met Bo Burnham when he like first started coming out. I hung out with him in Austin and I was just like starstruck and really nervous.
He's super tall, right? I hear he's like super
He was
tall.
a giant.
yeah, he's like 6'4", 6'5" or something.
I'm trying
Was it like the Bo era? Oh,
yes.
so good.
I'm trying to think what year it was. Yeah, it had to have been like 12 or 11, 2012 or 11.
Yeah.
I met Eugene Merman on the street one time. That was insane. I'm trying to think of my con ones Brendan Fraser at the last one.
I just got chills. I was like, like, oh my God.
Oh, y'all know I'm silly and I embarrassed myself so hard. He was giving fist bump like this. But when I walked up, his hand was like this. And so in my head, I was like, do I kiss your hand? Like, so I just grabbed his hand and just was like, just shook it like this. I was like, I love Georgia the Jungle. I'm Jade. Yeah, and then you just walk away and you're like,
he loved
it.
And
like, mom working with Giancarlo Esposito. She always embarrasses me, I will say. She told Ethan Peck that I was like dyslexic and stuff. I was like,
oh my God.
Thank you. I just get nervous because I'm like, oh, hi. I don't know if I should be here, if you should be talking to me, like, and then just run away. But
Brendan Fraser is like amazing because he has such an air of like gratitude about the 180 his career has recently done. And I mean, especially with like him winning the Critics' Choice Award recently and Ki Wei Kwan, like, oh my gosh, that whole thing was insane. But that's so cool that you got to see him recently. Like
so many
I can feel the emotion through the screen right now.
Yeah, I've had a pretty crazy life.
So like you and your mom work these together, or like all of them, or just it happens to like be similar every now and then?
So one of the cons I was working, they needed people and I was like, I know who will come help. So I grabbed mom and her buddy, Matt, Low and Dub, which you'll see all the time. And they got hooked too. It's that y'all were saying your first time there, you're just, how can I ever go anywhere else with this much love? And so she doesn't really know, everybody that's there.
Yeah.
But I do give them a rundown. So after this con, actually, we watched a bunch of the Eddie videos. And mom was like crying. She's like, oh, I understand.
Oh, mom.
But, she always gets to work with like the coolest people. But it's fun because, she's my travel buddy and we just like get to drive there. And, I have my person there that, because it's hard to explain this experience without like, I don't know, if somebody has never been to one, about like that energy there. It's just, I don't know, it's so different. And the Quinn fan energy, I will say, I have never experienced before like that. Like I've seen crazy, but this was beautiful. It was girl love, girl power, like Sim, let's go. But I really loved like all of the girls meeting each other, be like, oh my God, we love him so much. That first day when everybody was waiting, I was like, what are these girls doing? Are they about to storm? Like Hello,
We're gonna
blah,
take
like-
the tent.
Storm the tent.
I was like, oh, these girls, because that's where everybody was waiting that first day. And I was like, oh, they're not waiting on anybody anymore.
We're just there to
And
hang
so,
out.
yeah. And so that was the sweetest thing ever. Once I, kind of would talk to everybody like, hey guys, y'all are good to say goodbye. Well, let's make I got that little video I have on my Instagram with everybody
Mhm.
behind me. That was that where I was like, okay, girls, let's do it all together. Let's get loud. I'm the best, never was a cheerleader. That was an epic moment for me, just like in a con world, seeing that huge group of girls just be like, bye, just waving and hollering. And
Mhm.
he felt that too. That was really epic. And then they wouldn't let us do it afterwards.
The point you bring up about the energy is so valid. It's so interesting because the energy in person is so different than the energy you sometimes see online. The fact that like sometimes there's a little bit of toxicity, really in any fandom, you're going to have a little bit of toxicity, but that didn't translate at all into this con at all.
No.
And so like, but I mean, there were people that we have like interacted with on TikTok, or like there were people like, I always make reference to like Desi and Summer who like met while we were
Summer.
there. I know, Summer, what a rock star.
Oh,
Like
I love Summer.
she'll be
Yeah.
so excited that we brought her up again. But like I always
Yeah.
think about Desi and Summer. Like we were literally there. I think you were also there on that Friday. And Desi just walks up and goes, I'm here alone. I just want to hang out. And Summer like brought her into that group, and that whole group just like adopted her. And I'm talking to Summer a few days ago, and she's like, yeah, like these girls are my friends for life. Like some of these women are going to be at my wedding. Like, and I just think it's crazy. And I'm sure that he's heard it, but hearing something and understanding something don't necessarily compute sometimes. I hope he understands the power that he holds when it comes to creating bonds. Because not only do people bond over Eddie and the fact that he was an outcast and that he had a really beautiful redemption arc and all of that. Like, look at the three of us and look at you. Like, we got to meet you, and you're such a like
Mhm.
cool,
So many
you're just
new
such
people.
a cool, funny person, So we're
And you'll
just
see me again.
and we'll see
Yes.
you again. Maybe next time we can all get drunk together. It'll be fabulous. Shannon and Danielle, do you guys have any questions? I know I've kind of like
No, I just wanted to touch a little bit more on what we were just talking about, because that's been my biggest like moment for that weekend, is just the amount of love that was in that building. I have been watching Joe for 7 months. He's been my life, whatever. And you hear about, oh, this con was terrible. That con was that. The people there were rude. The staff was terrible. And so I went into this particular situation like not knowing what to expect. And I would have to say, that was the most smooth thing I've ever been a part of in my whole life.
Yes.
Like the only delay that I think we experienced all weekend was that last autograph and that last photo. But I mean, it was bound to happen. You have to aim for perfection, but like it never happens, right?
Ugh.
You can tell that he knows Laura, about the bonds that he has created and the
Faith,
love
I'm
that
sorry.
your eyes were like, excuse me.
I about shot myself just now. Did you see my face?
But
Oh my God.
everybody just always touches on, oh, he's got to be so tired. But like the energy that man had all weekend, he was accepting the love and he was giving it out. And it's like, you can't tell me that man doesn't love the community that has come together. And it's like that whole building was just buzzing with love and admiration. And it was just fucking perfect.
Yeah, not one thing that was even slightly considered toxic ever leaked out. Like, I think they got it down this con about like what to expect and how to handle everything with Joe, honestly.
Yeah.
That's good.
The whole con in general was perfect.
You
Like
never
the
know.
staff that
Yeah.
ran that
Yeah.
did above and beyond. It was absolutely amazing.
You were like 95% of that. So that's all. This is all. We're all here just to give you a really big compliment card right now. That's really why you're here.
I appreciate it. I had like a list. You called out David at the door, awesome dude. He did like South by Southwest. He had a broken foot and was on crutches that whole weekend.
Yes.
I saw that.
I was like,
Yeah,
are they not giving you
him-
a stool even? Like, what's going on? He's like, no, I'm
I
good.
kept asking. He's like, no, I'm good. He's just a cool dude. And then Tom, the guy that was giving everybody tickets.
Tom.
He was
Yes,
very
Tom,
Tom.
he was
sweet
the one
man.
that's like, I understand your
Yeah.
tickets are in the Bible, but you need to have those tickets to get your
Oh,
autograph.
I heard that stuff. And that was the thing too, you know, people would come up and you know, they'd mess something up or they lose something, and I'm like, I'm the best person to come to because we're gonna help you, you know, I'm not gonna just turn you away. I'm gonna try to connect you with the right type of people. I also wanted to shout out Gwen. I said her earlier, but that security guard lady, because everybody leaving and she was just there to hug everybody, or all the girls that had just met each other, just hugging each other. And
I saw that.
anyways,
I saw
so
somebody
cute.
Yeah, y'all
picture at the end, and I remember thinking, I'm like, man, I wish I had gotten in with her right when we were about to go in, because she seemed so sweet. And I think the only thing I said to her was like, "You're done, girl. You're almost there." She was like, "I know."
it was, yeah, she had no idea what to expect. I didn't really either, you know. I just show up and they don't tell me who I'm with until that day. And my boss was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. We're putting you over here." And then Tom was the other guy. He was like, "Oh, if you're here, you know, we're gonna get it done." Oh, I was gonna say that was awesome, y'all shouting out the artists, because that's one thing when people come to me, I always tell them, go to Artist Alley. And I love y'all did that whole thing. My whole house is full of art just from different vendors at con.
Oh, I love
There was
that.
one more that I forgot to bring up. His name was Tristan. If you were there, if you were looking at Adam's art box, he was to the right of Adam's, and he was so good too. I cannot think of his name. If I think of it, I'll bring it back up and we'll
It's Tristan Young. He shares a last name
Oh my
as
gosh,
me.
that's right. Yes, Tristan Young.
Aw.
That's right. He was
Yep.
amazing. So I
Yes.
thought about, thank you for reminding me of that, because he was
Mhm.
also fabulous. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say about Summer. I remember, sorry, I'm a little ADD.
Yeah, no, you're
Sorry,
fine.
y'all need to cut any of my stuff, cut that, whatever.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the fact that
Summer
you're
was
bringing up
awesome.
Summer, she's gonna actually die. Like we talked about her in the last episode, and she posted a picture to her TikTok of her going, because she had listened to this. So like, she's gonna love this.
So she was, I think, the first one to tell me about the Twitter post. I don't have the girl's name, but I have her handle. It's CLGRO2. It was a girl with the purple hair. So on Friday, she was just like, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" And people say it all the time, you know, I never see the picture. I'm like, whatever. And then Summer's the one who came up to me. She was like, "Look at this. You're on Twitter." And, you know, she was the one. And I was just like, thanks. She was like, "Let me retweet it," you know. And so she's the one that really told me about it. And all your hype. And that was the weirdest thing that has ever happened to me at con, I think, because, you know, I have my little cosplay friends that always come by that see me, you know, or my other merchants that I know, or like a couple of people are like, "Oh, weren't you working in Dallas the last con?" But nothing like this. Everybody was like, "Are you Jade? Hey, Jade, can you come help me with this?" And I was just,
Hello?
What's going on?
listen, guys. I was like, I'll help you. What does anybody need? And that last day, I wanted to say that was just insane, because they tell me something and then they just kept pushing the time back, and just being able to, I had a couple people that were like, "Hey, we gotta go. I want to change my ticket in," and being able to keep all those people like chill and like want to hang out still, you know, keeping up the vibe. I feel like that was one of my biggest accomplishments that day, because that Sunday was insane. And everybody really, like, because we were able to kind of just really talk to everybody, let them know.
Yeah.
I'm so glad
I hope that they keep you in that like line at the next one, because you manage that like a rock star.
The whole team did, yeah.
little Angie, the other lady,
Yes!
she was the
Oh my
librarian,
God!
Angie.
She
Yes.
kept calling
So
us
she
the
is super
podcast
cute.
girls.
Yeah,
That
I'm
was
so glad. I'm sorry, I had like a whole list of random things I like.
Yeah, no,
love
that's
this.
great.
But I'm like, but Angie, she is a librarian, which librarians are always the freaking coolest. she's a huge nerd, she's a big Lord of the Rings fan. And I actually like hung out with her one night. But I wanted to shout her out too, because she was like, oh, I'm a teacher. They'll listen to me. We'll get this done. And she was keeping everybody in line and stuff, and, helping with the notepads too. So I was like, so glad I had her. Good
I
crew,
loved
good crew.
Angie. Every time she'd see us, she goes, there's my girls. How are the podcast girls today? And I'm like, we're doing great. Thank you.
Oh yeah, with Shannon, didn't you get lost and you asked me if you had seen the girls?
They were coming back with the tickets and they said, oh, just meet us over by Joe's thing, and they weren't there. So I was like, have you seen them? Because there's like a bajillion people.
Yeah.
I remember that because when we were finally reunited, there was like 3 or 4 of you that were like, yay, you guys found each other. They're reunited.
Y'all's fame too this whole weekend. I thought that was really cool. Everybody that was like, oh, we were just listening to you guys, or oh, I'm so excited. I don't know.
That was wild. I
surreal.
still haven't
Yeah.
wrapped my mind around that. Like walking down an aisle of the con and somebody being like, Danielle, Laura, Shannon, oh my God. I remember one time specifically, me and Laura were in line for our photo and we had our jackets on with our patch, and like we're having our own moment. Like I'm blotting my stuff because like I just downed a high noon and I was a little sweaty and I'm like, I'm gonna meet Joe. And so I'm like freaking out and I hear the stuff and just, but there's a girl behind me. She's like, oh my God, they're from the Quinn-tessentials pod. I'm like, hi. Like that's wild. Never in my life.
on.
Yeah. Oh my God, no paparazzi.
Please don't.
There'll be like a sea of people and then someone's just staring at me and I'm like, what the fuck do I look like? Why are they staring at me? And then I'm like, oh, they I'm
I'm famous. That's right. I love that.
Oh my God.
That's a trip. That is
we just
a
keep
trip in
reminding
its
people
own.
we're just like you, I swear to God. We just our voices are just out to the public.
On the internet.
So, yeah.
But you're doing it. That's the coolest thing to me. So many people talk about, let's get a podcast together. Let's do this. But you guys are doing it. And you guys got to meet the dude now. Like
I know.
Every time I hear that, I'm like, we did that.
Add that to my resume.
It's so hard seeing him in person for the majority of the weekend for like a combined 40 seconds. And then now we have to go back to our phone. Like, okay, this will feed the serotonin for now, I guess.
Danielle and I were talking about this earlier in the week, and it was that like, you're looking at the photo, like I made it my background. Like it's my background. And so I look at the photo and it doesn't feel like a memory.
Oh.
Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I just kind of looked at it and it was like an out of body experience because it feels like I wasn't really there. And I'm like, this should feel more, I want to do over.
Honestly, I want to ask her about that because I've been having like an existential crisis about this the last few days where I will physically look at my photo. Okay. And I have seen so many pictures of him by himself with other people at different, so many of them that when I look at my own photo, my brain does not register that is me in that photo. Like, am I insane? Do I need to be like put in? Okay. Because I'm like, I will look at it and be like, I know that's me, but like, I can't be in a picture with Joseph Quinn.
Did I Photoshop that?
Did I imagine that whole interaction? No, I don't think so.
It's such a weird feeling. I don't understand. I don't get it. I'm Confucian.
It is. It's weird. Like my weekend after working with Eduardo, like whenever I'd have to do a selfie, he'd come out and he'd just be like, Jade, where's Jade? I need you. Jade, come over here. And I'm like, did that really happen or did I dream that? Was he literally just
yelling my name?
Hanging out? Yeah, we were nerding out and I was like, it doesn't feel real. We were just like,
wow.
Yeah, it's like an addiction. Like we are already like, we know for sure if he gets confirmed. Like I really just want to go again to another one to experience not only Joe at another con, but like I want to dive more into other fandoms and just experience it because I was so on the straight and narrow on this trip that like we're here for press and this is what we're doing and I'm only here for Joe. But I mean, I had a moment, Laura was there with me. We were living with some of our TikTok people and I look over and she's like, Danielle, that's Matthew. That's Neville Longbottom. And I looked over and I was like, and like him and Bonnie were sitting over there and I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, go up and say hi. And I go, I can't do that. I can't. I'm going to die.
Understandable though,
Aw.
truly. Yeah.
I'm like, I have like tattoos. Like Harry Potter was such a big part of my life. And like to not only be there for Joe and meet all these people and meet Laura and Shannon. And then I look to my right and freaking Neville and Jenny are sitting at a table together. Like,
Seriously.
Okay, that reminded me. I have to show y'all this. This is very embarrassing, but let me see if I have it. Oh no, it's on my
No.
wall. Okay, it's
Uh-oh.
on my wall, but never mind. But it's the
What-
same where like I worked with Billy West and I have Futurama. I'm
Yeah.
all tatted up. I had
Oh,
clothes on those ones,
wow, I
so
would have
I'm
never
a-
known.
Yeah, like and
All
he
Futurama
says-
themed?
No, it's all different. Like this is Venture Bros.
Oh,
Rock
okay.
Samson, which
Yeah,
Patrick
okay.
Warburton played. You're just like, oh, guess what? You're on my body. You know, it's just you're like so embarrassing, but you're like, oh yeah, be a human.
I almost
got
wanted to
this.
show Joe my Lord of the Rings tattoo because he loved Lord of the Rings and Orlando Bloom. But I really wanted to meet Sean Astin, but his line was crazy like the whole time.
His
Like
always.
this is. Let me turn more.
Oh my goodness.
Show the body yada yada yada.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Oh, right on the side too. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it only took
wild.
30 minutes and he did it in between my breathing. So one of the best tattoos I have, to be honest.
that's
But
awesome.
yeah,
He
but
would have been
occasionally,
like,
hey Joe.
oh, oh my. The rest of the people will be like, is she stripping? What's going on?
We got another stripper, you guys. Get out of here.
Get her out.
Like you said, sometimes it's a dream, it's a blur. Like if I don't journal after my con, I will forget all the little things. So like luckily I most of the time I do. So I'm like, oh yeah, and then that happened. Oh yeah, and they said this and other
Mhm.
because it's so fast.
That's a
such
really good idea.
We should
Ugh.
start doing that after the cons too.
Because that's
Yeah.
another thing I brought up. It's like, I'm afraid that if I don't keep replaying my interactions in my head, that I'm going to forget. And then I go,
Yeah.
Laura, what if I forget what he sounds like? And I'm like, I could just pull up TikTok, but
You can
like,
look it up. He is.
I
everywhere.
have two very specific things on both interactions that I just keep going between. I got a wink and then I made him laugh and I like felt it on me. And I was just like, this is the best day of my life.
Ugh.
I can't remember. I think mine is when we told him about the podcast for sure, and the
I
softness.
feel like
of
I was
his
in
shirt.
there or near there. Oh, you
What?
said his shirt was really soft.
His shirt was so soft whenever
So
we did
soft.
I was like, I wanted to be like, what material is this, sir? I would like to purchase one for myself. I feel like he
That'd
rolled
be
out of
me.
bed on with like his pajamas on. Was like, this looks good. Put on some expensive ass jeans and the Gucci loafers and get the fuck out. Like, yeah.
I really like the reaction we got when we told him about our podcast. He's like, you have a podcast? Like he was so excited to hear about it.
Yeah.
And it was just, I'm like, we do.
Yeah, I feel like I was in the curtain because it was when you had your jacket.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You were in
Yeah,
that.
I remember. Yeah, because I think I was talking to either Tom or somebody right there, and I was like, "Ooh, my podcast girls are in there." But I remember because y'all were so excited about the jacket, and he did. He was, he looked down. He was just like, "Quinn," just kind of like where it kind of him like, "Oh, like it's about me, kind of," and y'all just being like all
Yeah.
excited.
Because Laura was like, can you just sign right there?
Right
Oh,
below the
really?
logo. Thank you. You inspired that. He was like,
You have
Oh.
a podcast? And I'm like, oh my God, it's happening.
I already feel the tears again. I can't. I have to excuse
just thinking about
myself.
Jeff Goldblum and Bob.
Oh, is
Jeff
that who's
Goldblum.
behind you? I was wondering.
Yep, that's Jeff.
The-
He
the
hangs out with
zaddy
us when we
himself.
record.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all contained yourself. Like I didn't really see you guys crying very much. But like I would have been like very emotional.
We cried after the fact when we were like, holy fuck, we did it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
removed ourselves from the situation and then we kind of just like stood together and we looked at each other and we were like, what?
The thing is, Jade, when we put this together, we put it together so quickly. It was like, how would you feel about doing a podcast? I'd be like, I mean, maybe if we're gonna do it, we gotta do it right though. And they're like, okay, great. Like Shannon started doing the logo, we figured out the music, we started getting material, simple cast, and that, but 2 weeks later we were like recording, and I was like, we
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's why I said you guys are doing it. That's
we
people's
thought we were gonna
dream.
have like
How long was it?
25 downloads the first week. We blew that shit out of the water, and the whole fucking time we're like, this is gonna happen. This is real. I remember when we had our first meeting, they were like, what do you think the likelihood that we're gonna meet Joseph is? I was like, maybe like 15-20%.
And look at us, 7 months later, we have met this man and he knows about our podcast.
What was the date of our first episode?
August 19th or
Mhm.
like mid-August, I want to say.
What is the biggest thing that you guys like about him? I'm just curious. What is it that y'all are drawn to? I know everybody has their little stories, but unless you guys have talked about it on the podcast,
No.
I
I
haven't listened to all of them.
No.
I don't think we've dove deeper into that since really the first or second episode. I think mine is just because I've seen all of his work now. First off, he's an amazing actor. Like, he's so good in literally everything. But I think it's just his compassion and his admiration for the people that love him. He
Yeah.
would literally work until the like all hours of the day, because he probably was in that meeting with his team where he's like, we're running really behind. And he's like, I want to see them all. I'll just cut something out. I still want to see them. And he was like, I'm going to do it. And the fact that some celebrities won't do that, they're like, cut 40 people off the line.
Go get your
yeah.
refund. Yeah.
Yeah, here's your refund. Like, I just love his compassion and his admiration and just the passion that he has for what he's doing.
Oh, it does show for sure.
I think that, at least for me, it comes down to the fact that like he's a very expressive person. You really get to see the gratitude that his career, the gratitude for his career and like what has come, into his life because of all of this. And he's so aware that like the fans are part of this and like are such a big role in this. You always see celebrities saying, oh, we couldn't have done this without you, the fans, and this, that, and the third. But it's so genuine. It's so genuine whenever it comes from him. You can just tell right off the bat. He really is like a really great talent. I genuinely think he's gonna go so fucking far. I fully expect him to be like an Academy Award winner at some point in his career. And we will have, by that point, we will also be on the red carpet, be like, Joe, come talk to us. Like, let's catch up, old friend. Like,
Oh my God, that would be
Quinn
crazy.
podcast gowns.
yeah.
Yes. Move out of the way,
God.
Amelia. Here come the podcast girls.
Ugh. I don't know if I could say anything different than them. I actually, when I first really enjoying Joe, it wasn't even when I saw him play anybody. He was promoting Stranger Things, and that was a clip online of him in Brazil. And I was so drawn to him, and he's so expressive and so funny, and there was just something so charming about him that reeled me in. But what makes me stay is, as Laura says, how he represents himself, how he puts himself out there. He's just so gracious and happy and humble, and really just such a beautiful soul. Like he seems like such a beautiful person. So I hope he never changes. He better stay the same.
I love that. Yeah, I knew Eddie was a big deal. That was, like I said, I give Matt and Lo a big lowdown on who's who. And I was like, he's all over, he's like everybody's comfort character now. So I knew it was going to be crazy. But I didn't really know him as a person. I didn't even know he was British until I heard him talk. What? But I was a huge Stranger Things fan, and I thought it was really cool how his character, just random one season, and how epic it was, like, to introduce a random character like that and everybody to love so much. Was that has to do with, I think, him for sure.
Yeah,
So
I
I,
agree.
Oh,
I
yeah.
see y'all's love.
Yeah.
We've seen other people audition for Eddie. We've seen audition videos for other people that would have
Oh.
auditioned for Eddie. Not to say that that person didn't put out a great performance, but it's almost guaranteed that the response would not have been the same,
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's just the shit. He's the shit. So
There's so many times that we see a lot of Joe in Eddie
Mhm.
and not a lot of Eddie in Joe. And I feel like if
Yeah.
it was reversed,
That's-
we wouldn't have gotten the same character that we got for Stranger Things.
Like I said, I think it's awesome you guys are doing it. Like, that's the biggest thing, and I hope you guys continue doing this because it's very sweet. I did listen to the last podcast and just I was a little nervous at first. I was like, oh no, I don't know what it's gonna be like. But I was just like, oh, I'm just hanging out with my girlfriends.
Yes.
Like when I walked out the door and you guys were like, Jade's mom. Like that was just a very epic ending to my weekend. And I love my Quinn fans, my Hellfire Sister Club. I just think y'all are amazing.
Love it.
Oh my God.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to see you again. Like we're definitely gonna cross paths again a few times this year, and I'm so excited.
Oh yes.
Yay. Do you want to
Yes,
plug
and
your
I'll give y'all.
socials?
Oh yeah. It's Gwen GWEN_JADEY. So it's supposed to sound like Gwen Stacy, but Gwen JD.
Oh,
I love it.
Love that.
Oh yes. So yeah, and I'm working on some con stuff right now that I'm gonna be posting. I'm gonna be posting info con videos soon.
Ooh.
I have a friend and
good.
I editing some stuff right now, so I was like, I might as well.
I hope Fan Expo really sees the value that you bring into it. I really, really do. I think that you are an incredible representation of what it is to be like just like the hospitality industry. And it's not even necessarily hospitality, but you really embody like the greatness of like what this industry is. And so they're very lucky to have you. And so are we. And tell your mom we said hello because God, you guys look the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, Jade, when did you dye your hair? In the last 15 minutes, we saw you.
Y'all are adorable.
Thank
I
you.
just, yeah, I'm excited for you guys.
Oh, I miss you already.
Alrighty. Well, I'll talk to y'all on social.
Yes. Oh my God, you'll see us all the time.
Okay.
Bye, girls.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, can I just say she's so fucking pretty. I kept staring at her little cheekbones and I'm like, what the fuck? She's so cute.
stunning. She's stunning,
Yes.
and like her aura, everything about her just has me like, I love you. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
Can I say something? That is the first time that I've actually gotten a little bit emotional hearing somebody talk about our podcast because nobody's really said it in the way that made me think that we were doing it. She 100% encapsulated exactly what we're trying to do. And I'm just like,
She
I
gets
can't.
it.
Indeed,
That's
I don't
so
think
hard.
I think that she not only does she get it and we're doing it the way that she's encapsulated it after just listening to one episode
Mhm.
and meeting us one time.
Yeah.
So that means that we are actually putting out the energy that we want to receive back. And I'm so thankful. And she was an incredible closer to this like episode and this chapter of Fan Expo New Orleans. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to send them everything we've got just because we're so proud of the work that we did. And we're so thankful to Fan Expo and Jade and Kel and, you know, Arynn for coming on. I mean, everything has been just top tier. We can't wait to do it again.
I can't. We're counting down the days, you guys. We are really hoping for MegaCon, but right now our decision is between Philly or Dallas or both, maybe all three. I guess you're just going to have to stick around until we announce where we're going.
I tell you what, I'm not going to be doing all three, but you know what? It looks like at least one of us will be doing all three.
My wallet is crying, but it's fine for Joseph.
Take my money, Fan Expo. Just take it. I don't know what else you want from me.
I want 15 minutes with Joe. That's what I want. All three of us get 15 minutes with Joe. $10,000,
Okay.
please.
Listen, Shannon, you had me rolling on the floor the other day whenever you were like, how much money do you think it would take to get like 15 minutes with him? I mean, just imagine the amount of money we just spent for 10 seconds.
It's so fucking true, though.
Yeah.
The amount
Just
of
take
money
my
that-
entire life's salary just for a lunch with Joseph.
You know what? Worth it.
Worth it.
No, not lunch, dinner.
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 I
Oh,
would
if
take
it's my
dinner
entire salary, it's gotta be dinner and dessert.
Yep.
That's all.
and
I'm
drinks.
saying. And
An
drinks.
episode of the podcast, Joseph.
Yep. All right. So let's tell them our socials, ladies.
My Instagram is Starry Eyes, STARRYYEYES.
Yes.
That sounds right. Okay. And then my TikTok is What's Up Shannon. come say what's up.
So my Instagram is Miss Danielle, MissDanielle. And then my TikTok is DEEE Young. And then if you want to check us out, if this is your first episode listening to us, first off, welcome. Check out our other stuff. It's pretty fantastic. But we also have socials for the podcast as well. Our TikTok is at the Quinn Podcast, and then both our Instagram and our Twitter are at the Quinn Pod. Come check us out.
Come
Say
check
hello.
us out.
Check us out.
I am Laura Vanessa on TikTok and Twitter. Laura with an H at the end, Vanessa with an H at the end. I see you biting your lip over there. I see you
I know
biting your
nothing.
lip. She tried not to make fun of me for it this time, but you know what? I appreciate the effort. That's all I care about. I love you. Thank you for listening. We are every week, without fail, consistently blown away by the fact that you guys are keeping us afloat with this whole thing. So thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. We love Jade, Arynn, and Kel. Go check them out. They are amazing. Next week, we're going to flip the script a little bit. We're going to switch it up. We are going to do Joe updates. But we're going to open the floodgates to something new, baby. And dun dun dun. I can't wait.
We're dipping our toes in the pond, ladies.
Dip, dip.
Until next time, friends. I love you all so much.
Toodles. Blah.